Well, hello there, Tankers of the Blitz universe. I'm Flossie, and this in front of you is the brand new Waffen F1.0. Yes, Wargaming did change the Waffenträger Auf E100's name to this for its release, and this is a very, very strange tank, one that is also going to be insanely expensive for you guys to acquire when it comes into the game, I believe, as of Thursday, I am pretty sure. So we're going to break into the tank stats, and then I will show you a couple of live games to kind of give you an idea of what you're getting yourself into if you decide to blow your whole bank account on this here vehicle. So let's get right on into the stats, starting off with the guns. And I say guns because there are two of them. So we will go over the triple shot gun first. Of course, this has 3 shells. As I just said, it's a triple shot gun. It has 2800 DPM. You have very mid accuracy at 4.1 seconds of aiming time with a dispersion of 0.353. So you are going to have a very troll gun when it comes to this option. In terms of your pen, you have fantastic pen at 292, standard pen 396 heat while using calibrated shells, and 81 HE. Your average damage is 570 on your standard, 480 on the premium, and 870 on your HE. Bro, if you are able to hit all 3 of your shots in this tank, you're going to do a minimum of 1700 damage with your standard and like upwards of 2000 with the HE. This tank can, in fact, one clip a lot of tier 9s and even some tier 10s with that HE. It's absolutely ridiculous. You do have 8 degrees of gun depression, which makes this tank sort of flexible, although I'm pretty sure the gun depression only works over the side of the tank, kind of like a VK90. Moving along, we reach gun option number 2. This is the 5-shell gun, which is another different sort of option for you to choose from. So obviously with this sort of gun, as you can see here, the aim time is going to be a lot better, almost a full second better. Your dispersion is quite a bit better as well. Your DPM is slightly lower, only by 34 though, so not much of a difference. And your shell interclip time is a whole second and a half less. So obviously, because it has 5 shells, you're going to be able to shoot all of those quicker. But the overall dumping time is around the same as the triple shot gun. So obviously, this thing has less alpha damage as well by 230, but you deal about the same amount of damage as the triple shot gun. You can see here, you also have a little bit less penetration, but it only goes down 18 millimeters on your premium, and 378 heat is still more than enough to cut through any opponents you face. You also have the same amount of gun depression, talking about that as well. And taking a look at the tank's mobility, this thing goes 38 forward and 12 in reverse. That reverse speed is absolutely atrocious. The forward speed is actually pretty good, and you'll notice this thing feels quite mobile when you're getting up to that top speed, and its hull traverse rate is also pretty solid compared with the turret traverse rate as well. So it's difficult for people to flank you, but it's very, very annoying when you're trying to reverse out of a situation you get yourself into. Alongside the 2 different gun options, there are a couple of consumable options for you to choose from. Of course, you have shell reload boost as well as reticle cali. Now, if you're using the triple shotgun on this tank, or the 3-shell auto loading gun, I recommend you use both of these and 1 repair kit. The reason for that is because, of course, this tank has a long interclip when you're using the triple shot, and obviously, as you can see here, you can get it down by 30% while you're using shell reload boost. And again, the accuracy is also very troll, so having reticle cali can allow you to hit those lower plate shots and allow you to not miss as many of your clips, because getting all 3 of your shells into your opponents is what's going to make you a super dangerous opponent. So with that out of the way, let's get on into some gameplay in this tank and really see what this thing is capable of on the battlefield. And here we are on Ghost Factory for game number 1. Now, I will note that this thing has a lot of downsides to it. You may be thinking that a 1700 plus damage clip is absolutely broken. And yes, this tank, in my opinion, is completely overpowered for the 7 seconds that you are firing the gun. However, once you are finished firing all 3 of your shells, this thing becomes one of the most useless tanks in all of Blitz. You can see here the sheer size of this thing means that you are going to be a complete and utter target for everyone wanting to shoot at you on the enemy team. And because of the size of it, it's going to be so difficult for you to actually hide behind any sort of cover. And Another downside of this thing, you don't have spall liner. So frontally, you can't really HE this thing unless you are in like a 183 or something with Hesh. But the second you start angling the turret, the flat sides of it can be HE'd, and you will get absolutely nuked. Unlike the 4005 that has spall liner, you can't really afford to take HE shots in this tank and outtrade people like Yags or other heavily armored TDs. You'll just get outtraded by them most of the time. So you do have to be insanely careful when you're playing in a tank this large with this amount of armor as well. So really keep that in mind here. I'm hoping this 4005 pokes out backwards here. Let's see if I can one-shot him. Unfortunately, my alpha damage said no on that shot, but that's all right. We're going to go for this this 183 right here, get one shell into him, and of course, I don't want to waste my alpha damage on that player. So we are, in fact, going to go for a juicer of an HE for 891 into the Kron. Absolutely insane HE damage right there, and this Kron is completely dead. Bro actually gave up. So there you go. You can see with just one clip in this tank, I'm at 1,800, almost 1,900 damage, which is exactly why I say this thing is completely overpowered when you are able to dump your 3 shells. However, you can see there, the clip reload is like 30 seconds. So when you are out of shells, this thing becomes completely useless. 1, because you are the biggest target in all of Blitz, and 2, because, like, what are you going to do when you don't have shells? You can't do anything, so you just have to sit and pray that no one YOLOs you with DPM. So here we go. Get a juicer, a 895 roll into this Progetto right here. Absolutely insane, and we pick him up. There's where Reticle Cali can really help you out. You can see I was easily able to hit that shot on the side of the Progetto with my HE, and I was able to finish him off with a second shot right there. So there you go, and you can see people here are confused because, of course, this tank is not out yet for you to get. So there you go. Game number 1 was, in fact, a victory, and a pretty solid one at that. I mean, the enemy team didn't really put up much of a fight, to be honest. They all just sort of sat there. But you can see that was the easiest 3.7k I've ever had to do in this entire game. And that's how this tank plays. Like, you can just dump out so much damage so very quickly if you get yourself into the right situation. Now, of course, this tank 95% of the time will not be in the right situation. And that's where the downsides really come into play. First off, the reverse speed. You go 12 in reverse, you are completely dependent on having solid cover around you. And because the tank's turret doesn't go all the way around 365 degrees, if people are able to get behind you, they can, in fact, hide from your shells. I would also say that this tank, again, like I said, it's only overpowered when you're able to get those shells moving. If you're not, this tank is completely useless, and you will fall apart instantaneously. I prefer a tank like the 4005, to be honest. The gun's more reliable. You do similar amounts of clipping damage, but you have spall liner for 1, and obviously people won't be tunneling you as much as this tank because, of course, the 4005 is not a brand new vehicle. So here we go. Let's see the concept. Using our Reticle Cali, we are able to get 1 shell into him, and maybe 1 into the VK. There we go. 2 shots already, and just like that, we are at 1,019 damage. So, again, you can see the clipping power of this tank, and you can see the benefit of running things like shell reload boost, as well as reticle calibration. So there we go. We're going to obviously keep reloading, another 11 seconds to go, and I will turn around and start rushing this Kron player right here. If this guy keeps sitting here, he's going to have a nasty surprise. And oh boy, actually, instead of the Kron, I'm going to shoot at you. Hello, 4005. What's up, bro? And I just 2-shot a tier 10 tank destroyer. Yes, guys, that is the power of the HE on this tank. And now you can see the problem with this tank right here. I just dumped out a crap ton of damage, and now I have to do something called back up into cover, which is very difficult with a tank that has 12 reverse. You can see there, if those players were any less bad at the game and they didn't bounce my upper plate, I would have been completely destroyed. You can see, though, the armor profile, although it's non-existent for the most part, it does have the hull of an E100, so you can get occasional bounces when it comes to people shooting at your hull in this tank. However, unfortunately, the Kron high-rolled me, and we do get finished off. But we were able to do 3,900 damage with just about 2 clips right there. Again, this thing is absolutely ridiculous. Do I think a tank that deals 1,700 damage in a single clip is good for the game? Absolutely not. This thing is basically just another 4005 with even more deadly clipping power. All right, now that the game is in fact over, we'll be able to see our final result. We'll see, hoping I can get a mastery in this video, but that'd be pretty nice. Let's see. We did 3,900 damage, 1 kill, and did we ace it? The game's just gonna freeze. Oh, we did ace it. Very nice stuff there. So, excellent from the triple shot gun. Now, it wouldn't be a video of mine without me testing both guns. So let's go ahead and put on the 5-shell gun, and then we will see what the difference is in gameplay. You can see the guns look a little bit different, and we'll see if we can like perma-track some people, as that might be a viable option with the 5-shot gun. And here we are for our final battle of the video in, of course, the 5-shot gun. So we're going to compare this gun to the triple shot. However, in my personal opinion, if I were you playing this tank right now, I would use the triple shot gun. Not only do you just deal more damage in technically a shorter amount of time because you have less shells to fire, you're going to be more reliably doing more damage. What I mean by that is, let's say you miss a couple of your shots in the 5-shell gun. You're going to do way less damage than if you were to miss 1 out of 3 shots in the triple shotgun. And for that reason, I personally like out-trading my opponents. I like doing amazing alpha damage, especially with the HE, and I think the triple shotgun is just going to be more fun and more enjoyable for players to use, in my personal opinion. But we'll see what happens this game. I'll give the 5-shotgun the fair choice here, and oh my gosh. Okay, well, that's where the 5-shotgun is super deadly. I can't deny that. That is absolutely ridiculous. Being able to perma-track people like that, like I literally just mentioned when I was equipping the gun, like, perma-tracking people in this tank is probably how you're going to play it if you choose to use the 5-shot gun. Like aiming for people's track wheels, using up their repair kits, that is going to be a super big annoyance for a lot of enemy players to deal with if you're fighting this sort of vehicle here. So I do see a 57 heavy, and we're going to make our way over to his side here, hopefully giving him a taste of his own medicine here, giving him a good old clipperoonie in the side. That's 2. That's 1 bounce, unfortunately. That's 2 bounces. Oh my god, bro. The 57's armor profile is wild. But another thing on the opposite end of the spectrum is if you do miss a couple shots, you have more attempts to pen your shots with the 5-shell gun, which can actually come in handy in certain situations. Like you saw there, I was still able to deal a decent amount of damage to that 57. If I was to bounce 2 shells in the triple shot on that 57's turret there, I would have done way less damage. So it's a little bit of yin and yang when it comes to the 5-shell gun versus the 3-shot gun on this tank. Both of them are insanely deadly, but I think the 3-shell is going to be the better option for just nuking people straight up. So here we have the WZ in front of us, who I'm hoping backs up, because then I can give him a good old HE in the rear. But it doesn't look like he's going to do that. And now I have a Yag in front of me, who's going to be a big problem, because he can, in fact, HE me. However, here's where that 5-shot gun really comes into play. Oh my god, bro. We just did 1,830 damage to that poor Yag. And again, that perma-tracking ability is ridiculously strong in this tank when players do stupid plays like that. Yeah, I don't even know what to say. That was really stupid. Being able to just completely immobilize the Yag and make it so he cannot do a single thing to me and then deal 1,800 damage to him. I don't even know what to say. But we're going to hunt down the C50. Hopefully I can get the last bit of damage on him here in a second. But we will see what happens. So I'm going to push up here and hope for the best. Come on, E50M. What's going on? Bro, he actually just tracked me. Okay. All right, bro. Bro is giving me a taste of my own medicine here. Hopefully I don't get tracked again. That would be nice. There we go. And now I'm just going to load my heat shells. 1. Actually, I'll load my AP here because, yeah, I don't want to die to him. But there you go, 4,500 damage with the 5-shell gun. Obviously, we would have done less damage if the Yag didn't do that stupid play of try to YOLO me, but he did what he did, and so we were able to farm him by perma-tracking him. Excellent example of where the 5-shell gun can do amazing things. But again, this tank is going to be insanely hard and insanely team-dependent for you to play. So my final thoughts on the Waffen F1 are as follows. This tank, in the 7-second clipping time you have, is absolutely overpowered as shit. Once that ends, though, you are completely useless. You are just a giant target for everyone to shoot at, and you will get completely destroyed and go back to the garage insanely fast if you do not put yourself behind your team, number one, in very safe positions with lots of big buildings around you, number two, and if you don't put yourself in a spot where you need to reverse back further, because the 12 reverse is going to hurt you like crazy. If you are able to put yourself in the right situations, this tank will do wonders, and it will be an insanely big menace on the battlefield. So there you go. That is the Waffen F1 for all of you, and for all of you who are not yet subscribed to my channel, I highly recommend you do so, as it's a fantastic way to support content like this, and stay up to date when new tanks and my new videos come out in the future. And with that, I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.